What's going on, everybody? My name's Dave McRae. So in this video, I wanted to talk about this obsession we horror fans have when it comes to the R rating and how everything's got to be rated R. Horror movies got to be rated R, and PG-13 horror movies, lame, watered down bullshit. Obviously, I'm going to the extreme to make a point. Not everybody feels that way. And why am I talking about this today? Well, the Exorcist believer, the news dropped today that the Exorcist believer, to nobody's surprise, will be rated R for frightening or disturbing, I believe is the word they used, disturbing imagery and sexual references. And that makes sense. I mean, it's the Exorcist is what it's what you would expect. I'm not surprised by the R rating at all, but it got me thinking, this obsessive, need we have and how, again, I'm speaking generally, of course, that so many fans feel that, it's got to be rated R. Everything's got it. All the horror, is it rated R? Is it rated R? No, it's not. It's what I see as probably the second most asked question when a new horror movie is coming out or on the verge of coming out. Right after, how long is it? What's the runtime? Oh, it's only 90 minutes. God, I want fucking 2.5 hours, man. I want like 3 hours. I don't get it. I don't care about the runtime of a movie. But nonetheless, it's probably the second most asked question. And when you do find out that a horror movie is rated PG-13, there's usually this collective eye roll of, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you talking about? Now, I think it's a case-by-case basis. Certainly, there is an argument to be made, depending on the subgenre, depending on the franchise, a PG-13 rating doesn't make much sense. However, having said that, when I talk about PG-13 ratings, when it comes to horror movies, I'm talking about hard PG-13 ratings. You know how some people like to talk about, hard R's, right? Well, it's a hard R rating. Well, I think there is such a thing as a hard PG-13 rating. I think you can have a kind of a lighter PG-13 rating, but I think you can have a PG horror movie that pushes the envelope to its absolute limit, and you're kind of like, this was PG-13? Whoa, okay. They must have gone as far as they could, and they're not going any further. You know what I'm saying? There are amazing examples out there of wonderful bona fide classics within the genre of horror that are absolutely classics, that are PG-13. The Others is PG-13. The Ring from 2002, one of the great American remakes, one of the great horror movies of all time, really. Remember when it came out in 2002? If you're old enough, the scariest movie since The Exorcist, one of the, the scariest films of all time. That was all over the posters and the marketing. And it was great. And it still holds up today. It was a creepy movie. It had frightening imagery. It's got one of the best, one of the greatest jump scares in any horror movie, period. One of the freakiest images out of any horror movie, period. Period. It would be on anybody's top 10 greatest jump scares, freakiest images, period. And that is The Girl in the Closet, right? That thing? Oh my God, it still holds up today. And it's freaky and it's eerie. I mean, the film, it's a freaky, eerie, moody, atmospheric movie. You know what I'm saying? One of the greats, PG-13. The Sixth Sense, PG-13. Insidious, the original Insidious. It too has one of the great jump scares, one of the best jump scares of all time. It would be on anybody's top 10 jump scares list. And that is the demon face beside Patrick Wilson. Ah! Oh my God, it was just and it's moody and atmospheric and creepy and eerie. And it's one of the greats, one of the great horror movies, a modern classic, one of the greats, PG-13. The Sixth Sense, PG-13. The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Some consider that the best exorcist movie since The Exorcist, and no other exorcist movie since The Exorcism of Emily Rose has even come close. PG-13. A Quiet Place, PG-13. A Quiet Place 2, PG-13. There's a lot of great PG-13 horror movies out there. So when I talk about a PG-13 horror movie, I'm talking about generally a hard PG-13, right? You know what I'm saying? Because not every PG-13 horror movie pushes the envelope to the absolute max, where one step over and all of a sudden it's R, like The Others and The Sixth Sense. I mean, they're pretty tame by PG-13 standards, but they're still great horror movies that are creepy and eerie, and they're classics of the genre. So it really is a genre or a subgenre by subgenre, movie by movie, case by case basis. There is, of course, the slasher subgenre, which generally speaking, a slasher is going to be rated R because of, the slashing aspect. And that's the foundation for which it was built. That's what you expect. You go to a slasher movie expecting there to be blood, guts, and gore. To what degree and how, gratuitous it is, well, it depends. It depends on the vision of the filmmaker or the franchise or what have you. But certainly that makes sense to me. And of course, blood, guts, and gore is not the only, litmus test for a movie being rated R. I mean, language, nudity, sexuality, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can have a movie that has no killing in it whatsoever, hardly any blood, but if you show a lot of boobies and drop a lot of F-bombs, well, there you go. It really does depend. But The Exorcist Believer being rated R is no surprise. But it got me thinking when I heard the news today, does it need to be rated R? Should it be rated R? Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Well, Dave, it's a sequel to The Exorcist. It's The Exorcist. Of course it's got to be rated R. Have you seen the original? Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. Your mother sucks cocks in hell. It's a wonderful day for an exorcism. 360, degree head turns. Of course it's got to be rated R. Did you see the imagery? Oh my God, it's The Exorcist. Of course it's got to be rated. Can't be a PG-13 Exorcist movie. Dave. Totally get it. I understand it. I totally get it. And I'm not saying that this new Exorcist movie is not going to be fantastic. It could be great. I have no idea. I got to reserve judgment until I see it. I have no idea. But I'm rooting for it. I want this to be good. I'm rooting for Blumhouse. I'm rooting for David Gordon Green and company. I know how difficult it is to make movies. I want this to be great. I really do. But because of the climate we've been in for so long with these types of movies, we're so desensitized now. For every Exorcist movie, exorcism, demon possession movie out there, there's a grain of sand on the beach. Do you know what I mean? We're so desensitized now that I just don't know if I'm worried that it might not be this, but what makes The Exorcist so great isn't the scary imagery, isn't the 360-degree head turn, isn't the, your mother sucks cocks. I mean, the shaking bed, all that is great. It's all fantastic. But what makes The Exorcist so great is that it is a character-driven drama. Oh, it's a horror movie. If you want to put horror/drama, that's The Exorcist. That's the original Jaws too, but that's for another day. That's what The Exorcist is. And it was directed by William Friedkin, rest in peace, who came from a documentary filmmaking background. And the original Exorcist has a documentary vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? The pacing of the movie, how long we linger on shots, how long we sit with characters and watch the conversations play out and watch the dichotomy play out in, Reagan's mother's head about what's going on with her little girl and watching the science and, collide with the faith and the doctors talking about, what's going on. This is making, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's got a really grounded, real, eerie feel to the picture before you even get to anything creepy, right? It's insidious. And it ratchets it up as we go along. And then we're introduced, of course, to Father Merrin at the beginning, but we're introduced to Damien as well, who's struggling with his faith. He's a priest/psychiatrist. He doesn't feel he can help anybody anymore. His mother dies. He's just guilt-filled. He's filled with all this guilt because of his mom and dying. He's got that dream and all that kind of stuff, and he's lost his faith. He doesn't know what to do. I mean, it is a character-driven drama. And it's fantastic. And it's deep. And there's breathing room, and the pacing is great. And everybody, you care about these characters, and you feel for them. That's what The Exorcist is. And then you add fuck me, your mother sucks cocks in hell, 360-degree head turns, and it's a wonderful day for an exorcism. I mean, yeah, that is, and the way Reagan looks, and the way she's there on the bed, and all that's awesome. It's awesome. But just that isn't enough. And I'm not saying that because the movie was rated R today for, disturbing imagery, that's all it is. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying because of the climate we're in now with all these types of exorcism movies, it can't just be that. Because I'm telling you, if The Exorcist believer, and I'm not saying it is, David Gordon Green has come out and said that The Exorcist Believer is a throwback to the psychological films that he grew up with, and that's what I like to hear. That's what I fucking like to hear, David. Fucking love it, buddy. But we don't know. We don't know, right? We have no idea. Because if it's not a character-driven film, then it'll just be like every other Exorcist movie out there. My thought was, maybe if it was designed to be a PG-13 rating, a hard PG-13, right? Pushing the envelope, going to the line, but not over it, it would force the filmmakers to be more creative with the subtleties and the nuances of the psychological aspects and avoid the temptation to rely so heavily on what's been so traditional in modern day horror movies and possession, demon, and exorcism movies. Does that make sense? When you're confined to a sandbox that forces you to play within a certain set of rules, and you would know this going in because it would be agreed upon, the studios know about it. Obviously, the script dictates more of a hard PG-13. Again, hard PG-13, right? Go onto that line. Insidious, A Quiet Place, The Ring, like a hard PG-13. But it forces you to play in that, as I said, to get more creative. And I only mention this because I'm skeptical. That doesn't mean that you can't deliver a hard R today and have it be everything we want it to be. Of course you can. Of course you can. But the temptation on relying on certain tropes and traditions is what worries me. Because the original Exorcist is so steeped in grounded reality and nuance and pacing and character and drama. And is that what we're going to get? I don't know. And it doesn't have to, again, it doesn't have to be exactly that, right? I mean, some people might be thinking, Dave, your expectations are just way too high. I'm talking about it's got to feel like it lives and breathes in the same universe. It has to. It has to feel like it's cut from the same cloth of storytelling. I'm not talking about a beat for beat, shot for shot remake. I'm talking about a film, a story that lives and breathes, feels like it lives and breathes in the same universe. The cosmology of the film, it feels canonically connected to its predecessor in tone and style. That doesn't mean that the directors and the filmmakers can't bring their own sensibilities to it. Of course not. But there is a wheelhouse that we should be playing in. We did it with It's Me, Billy, Chapter 1. One of the biggest compliments we got on that film was it feels like it lives and breathes in the same universe as the original Black Christmas. And that's by design. We still brought our own directing sensibilities to it, our own style, of course. But we knew what we were working with. And of course, the original Exorcist is rated R, of course. But it's just because of where we are, it makes me more skeptical that it'll just be more traditional rather than appropriate. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. By the way, I have launched YouTube membership here on the channel. The link is in the description. There's 2 tiers. I'm winding down my Patreon. My Patreon will soon be no longer, and it's just going to be YouTube membership now. There's 2 tiers and some really cool stuff over there. There's an all Halloween show called One Good Scare. There's a horror movie nights watch along. There's the movie room, which is a members only Q&A. You get emojis and badges, and I'll send you exclusive, not send you, but I'll send you. No, I'll post exclusive images that are members only images, all that kind of stuff. Check it out. I'm very excited. I was hoping to get to 50 members by the end of the year. We're already at 51. Holy shit, in like a day and a half or 2 days or something. It's unreal. Now my goal is to get to 100 by the end of the year, and that would be awesome. I just want to continue to inject new life into the channel, into the community, keep things fresh, keep us on our toes, and I'm very excited about this. It's all on one platform, all on YouTube, and it's going to be a lot easier for me, and so I'm very excited about it. Check it out. The link is in the description. Also, if you want to follow me on social media, you can. There are my links right there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those links are also in the description. So check them out when you can. And jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts on what I've been talking about here today. I would really appreciate it. So that's going to do it for me. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you soon. Alrighty. Cheers.